Good afternoon. We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is nice to come together for the purpose of co-creating, is it not? What brings you here?
I live here.
You are wanting to give her the box.
Abraham, how would you feel about me reading all my questions that I have all at once and then just kind of go from there? Or would you like just to take one question at a time?
As you are offering them one at a time, it is more effective. For often, in your first offering, you receive the answer to the others.
Right. Okay, I'll read this to kind of make it clear. As you know, I travel great distance in pursuit of my desires. I mingle with many, putting myself in close quarters with some that really don't understand that as they feel, they get. Some of these people are really wanting and understanding of how we get what we get, but are so miserable from focusing on lack that I find it very hard to communicate with these people. During these times, I'm wanting to help these people, which seems to be a very big part of me. I end up with some kind of ailment, either a cold or flu, etc., you name it, and I've gotten it. I had it. I allow the others focus on lack to really tire me. You have told us that the resistance causes tiredness. What am I resisting? I know being more deliberate in my planning of my trips can avoid this, but my wanting to help others keeps drawing these people to me that I really want to help. This is an old rut that I intend to fill in, assist me in changing some old beliefs and habits that will help me have a healthier and happy life.
We are appreciating what you have offered, for you are already understanding, even within your question, there are answers to yourself. Whenever you are feeling tired, it is always a signal that there is some resistance. And whenever there is resistance, there is some getting of what you are not wanting to get, thus the illness that you are describing. We are going to talk for a moment about the subject of allowing, because we believe that is what is at the root of all of this. You see another wanting something that he does not have, doesn't matter what it is. He is unhappy when he wants to be happy, or he is not prosperous when he wants to be prosperous, or he is not well when he wants to be well. Doesn't matter what the subject is, you are witnessing many others, for they are abounding, that are experiencing the lack of something they want. And so you as a teacher, you as one who, as you have described in your clear writing, you are wanting to assist them. And so you approach them from the standpoint, I am wanting to help you. And so right away, your attempt at helping is from your awareness of their lack. In other words, you don't try to make the well ones weller, and you don't worry so much about making the happier ones happier. It is always the sick ones, or the unhappy ones, or the not prosperous ones, or those that are in a position of lack. And so what is happening to you is you are letting their feeling of lack sweep you in, and then from that place of lack you're trying to do something about it or to effect some change, and the resistance you feel is because you're attempting the impossible. Yeah. You cannot uplift a person to something that you know they want from the place of lack. Now, the reason we know that this is happening to you is because you are experiencing the negative repercussions of it. If you were coming away untouched, you would simply say, I was not effective at helping them, but the fact that you're coming away sick, or even feeling the discomfort, the tension of the resistance, it is an indication that they are sucking you in a bit. And it is not uncommon, because their momentum is simply strong enough. When someone is really, 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 really feeling lack, so that they are very verbal about it especially, then it is easy for you to get swept up in it. Now, the tendency of our physical friends, especially those of us who are teachers, as we see someone experiencing something less than they want, is to automatically assume that we know what it is that they do want. In other words, we try to superimpose our wanting over what they are living. It is hard for us to accept that our idea of what is a good thing may be someone else's idea of that which is a bad thing. And that's where the allowing comes in, and that's where the allowing will serve you very well. If you will relax whenever you see someone experiencing less than you think they should want, or even less than you are knowing they want because of your conversations with them, if you will stop and remind yourself, I cannot assert into their experience anyway, and all the attempt at that does is make me sick.
Yes.
And this is the way, through the process of life, this is the way that they are more clearly able to define what they want. And I don't really understand all of the stuff that is within them that is causing them to live what they want. In other words, what we are really saying to you is, let yourself gently out of the mode of trying to fix it for everybody else.
Right.
And
It's just a habit.
it is a habit out of your wanting to uplift, but you are doing it and have done it long enough to recognize that it does not work very well. Now, what does work is being the joyful being that you are, living the example of that which you are, which may inspire some of them to wanting some of that, in which case they will come to you and they will say, what do you think about this? And you do not feel resistance under those conditions. When somebody is really asking you and you are offering, then there is no feeling of resistance. It's when someone is living a way different than you think they should live, or even you think that they want to live, that you feel that great resistance. You can imagine the frustration of a teacher of quantum physics if somehow he came to believe that he must go to this first grade class, the little 5- and 6-year-olds, and teach them what he knows about quantum physics. If he believed that it was his responsibility, as he says to them, I'm not leaving until you understand it, so sit down and listen to what I have to say. You can imagine the frustration that he would feel, and you can imagine the frustration that they would feel in trying to discuss something that they're not ready to receive. Well, it is not different from most that you interact with. When you're trying to teach someone how to be happy, most of them are very far from even being receptive to that sort of thing. Someone said to us recently, we had been talking about Esther's experience of walking to the gate and seeing the beautiful sky and smelling the beautiful fragrances and hearing the sounds and feeling the wind upon her skin, and then recognizing that she was experiencing a little bit of altered state of consciousness because Abraham was peering through her. And the point of the story was to help you to realize that your inner being is resonating in this place of positive emotion, and when you are allowing yourself to not be in a place of positive emotion, you cannot resonate with who you really are. You are living a sort of shallow experience. As we express this story, it is with the wanting you to understand that when you are in a place of negativity, or when someone that you are interacting with is, that no matter how much you want to uplift them to a place of positivity, it defies law. It is not that you are ineffective. It is that the momentum of that which is positive and the momentum of that which is negative do not blend. Now, your idea of what is a good thing may very well resonate with someone else's idea of what is a good thing. But if they are in the moment feeling the lack of that, then even though they want it, they cannot resonate with you. It's like saying, how often have you said, I know what I'm doing is not in harmony with my best interests, I just can't stop myself from doing it.
Yeah. Right.
The best thing to do is sense where someone is. feel the intensity of their wanting, and then back away from it, because anything that you offer when they are wanting and feeling intensely the lack of it will be resisted anyway. And so use your exposure to them as a sort of data collecting process. And then when you are not with that person, who is very important to you, see them as finding their way, envision them as discovering their own path, see them as making a more conscious decision that they are wanting whatever it is that they are wanting rather than living the lack of it. Right. And in that way, you prepave, you set some thoughts out there in advance so that when you come together with them, very often the resistance is not there. If you had decided that you would start from where you are and go a distance. That is your goal, 10 miles, and you are going to go that distance. Would you walk 10 miles in the opposite direction before you start? Or would you start where you are and move toward what you are wanting? Of course, the answer is obvious. It is much more practical to start where you are. And yet so many of you who do not prepave in advance about what you are wanting, wait until something has touched you negatively. In other words, you wait until someone is showing you something that they do not want, which is you're walking 10 miles in the other direction, and then you decide you will go to where you're wanting to go, and it is a lot harder to do. You've heard all of this from us before, and we are seeking a new way of, a newer, clearer way of expressing it to you. But what we would really say to you is, don't let what others are living be your job of turning it around, and let your primary emphasis be upon keeping yourself in a place that feels good, which means sometimes walk away from them, which means sometimes avoid them altogether, or if you feel that you cannot do that, then do some prepaving. Intend not to be so sensitive to what another is feeling. Yeah. These are very intense times upon your planet, in that there is very intense energy, so that whatever you are feeling much, much stronger. That is the reason that things that in the past would not have erupted in the way that they have are now in this time erupting, you see. The energy, the law of attraction that is shining upon you and making whatever you are more, is more intense in this time than it has ever been, and perhaps 100 times stronger than it was even 10 years ago, you see. And so a sensitive one like you must work very hard to allow all others to be or do or have whatever they are choosing, and don't suffer so much for them. Most of them are not suffering for themselves nearly as much as you are suffering for them.
I understand.
So are you saying that we can uplift one who's wanting to be uplifted, but we can't uplift somebody no matter how down they are unless they want to be uplifted? Is that what it is?
That is a good way of saying it. And we are talking about in the moment, which is the way you made your statement. Yes. In other words, none of you stay in one place all of the time. In other words, those who are wanting to be uplifted in one moment are those that are in a very negative place in another moment. And so what we are really talking about here is your timing. When you are pushing against someone, you feel the resistance. Right. What you are wanting to do is bring them toward you, or resonate together rather than having a tug of war.
So the catch is we assume everyone would want what we want.
It is a big distortion, isn't it?
Like happy or healthy or wealthy or what have you.
You are assuming that everyone's idea of good and bad is the same as yours, and it is just not that way. And with that is the underlying confusion that has thwarted man's progress upon the earth from the beginning of time. You believe, you have a very loud rooster.
I'm going to have it leave. I'm listening, no.
You believe that what you are wanting is appropriate, and if it disagrees with what someone else is wanting, it must be not appropriate.